Alright, buckle up. Here's an even sharper, snarkier take on chain of thought, COT models. The secret sauce that makes AI seem like they're doing real thinking. Imagine your brain as that friend who mumbles, "Let me think," before solving a math problem. Now imagine that friend is entirely replaced by a calculator that's been trained to spit out sentences. Sounds weird, right? Well, that's pretty much what's happening inside large language models, LLMs. Step 1. Breaking down the input. When you type a sentence, say, "How many RS are in strawberry?" your words get chopped into pieces. Think of it as slicing up your cheeseburger into tiny tokens. These tokens aren't words per se. They're more like secret numeric codes for pieces of words. The model doesn't know English, it's just a bumpy highway of numbers. It converts everything into tokens like straw and berry, each represented by its own unique number in a vocabulary that might include special characters, uppercase letters, and even emojis if you're feeling fancy. Step 2. The great number crunch. Now, the model performs its magic by doing a crazy amount of math as if a NASA engineer built it just for this. It takes your tokenized input, crushes it with layers of statistical wizardry, and spits out another number. That number, when retranslated through its internal token dictionary, becomes a word. It's just a really elaborate game of telephone. Only the entire conversation is a series of number swaps. Step 3. Enter the chain of thought. Token. Here's where it gets interesting. Researchers discovered that if you let the model think out loud, or in its case, output a special token, it might be called the think token, it tends to crash through complex tasks like math, coding, or logic puzzles more coherently. Think of it like this. Before your friend blurts out an answer, you can see all the scribbled notes on their napkin. It's not that they suddenly understand quantum physics. They're just showing you the step-by-step calculations that led to the answer. The chain of thought is essentially the model's way of handing you its rough draft of inner workings, a series of tokens that represents intermediate steps. Example, time. Imagine asking a KOT model, "What's the result of 57x23? Instead of just spitting out 1311, the model might kick off a mini internal monologue, in tokens of course, like token A. Let's break it down. Token B. 50 times 23 is 1150. 7 times 23 is 161. Token C. Adding them gives 1311. The model isn't actually doing arithmetic in the human sense. It's regurgitating probabilities learned during training that look like logical steps. It's like watching a magician reveal his trick's outline. You see all the steps, but it's still just well-practiced sleight of hand. Step 4. Why bother with thinking? You might ask, if it's all numbers, why fake a thought process? Good question. When the model outputs these extra tokens that mimic reasoning, it often produces more coherent responses for complex tasks. It doesn't understand in the human sense. It's just following statistical patterns that coincidentally resemble human reasoning. So when you read that impressive chain of thought and think, wow, this AI must have a brain, remember, it's basically a glorified, math-powered parrot that's been trained on a massive dataset of language. The takeaway chain of thought models are clever tricks, a way to nudge an AI into breaking down complex problems into manageable steps. But don't mistake these steps for actual understanding. It's all numbers, math, and probability. The model isn't thinking, it's just methodically processing, like that over-enthusiastic calculator that occasionally sounds like it's reasoning. So next time someone heralds AI as the next Einstein, just smile and remember, it's a brilliant display of statistical prowess, not a spark of genuine insight. And if you're a dev looking for tools that can help with mind-numbing coding tasks, this isn't a sign of impending human redundancy. It's just tech doing its best to emulate structured problem solving. Cheers to keeping our human brain cells out of the token blender. Now go forth and deploy your code with a little extra knowing smirk, because you know the the real magic isn't thinking, it's math in disguise.